Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. I got the day off work. I figured, might as well do the first collection update of 2022. All these records are new-ish. Well, they're all from 2021. That's pretty new. And they're all 7 inches. I figure in the next video I will cover all the ones that aren't 7 inches. So let's do it. First band released by Goodbye Boozy. Fantastic label out of, I believe, Italy. This is a band from New Orleans, Louisiana. Biloxi and the Fucks. This is the Put You in the Gulag EP. This was originally released in 2020, but this is the 2021 repress. I'm glad they repressed it because I didn't own it, but now I do. If you've never heard Biloxi and the Fucks, you're kind of missing out, in my opinion. It's really simple, stripped down garage punk. It's got a really laid back delivery. There's a comedic element to it. There's also a dark element to it. And there's also an awesome element to it because everything I've heard by this band is awesome. And this is no exception. So if you like simple, stripped down, entertaining garage punk, then Biloxi and the Fucks just might be up your alley. Now we'll go over to Michigan. Ann Arbor, I think, but don't quote me on that. It's a self-titled 7-inch by a band called Silicon Heartbeat. This is awesome synth punk. Among the best I've heard in the last while. You can hear a little bit of the spits in there, but I think you can hear a little bit of the spits in most synth punk that comes out these days. But truth be told, this band is way more synth heavy than anything I've heard the spits do. It's very well written. It's very smoothly played. It's got a little bit of a kind of a trippy psychedelic thing going on to it. It's real good when you're ripped on the hashish. This totally exceeded my expectations. It's great. Love it. It's on It's Trash Records out of London, Ontario. And speaking of It's Trash Records out of London, Ontario, my good friend Jesse, who's the man behind that label, has seen fit to bestow upon me 2 complimentary copies of the Silicon Heartbeat 7-inch to give away to 2 of you. And I'm going to do that. All I want you to do is tell me in the comments a band from Michigan that you enjoy. I figure Silicon Heartbeat's from Michigan. It's an appropriate question. But there's a catch. The band you list cannot be Iggy Pop, it cannot be Iggy and the Stooges, and it cannot be the MC5. All great in their own right, but they're no-brainers. I want to see something a little different. So humor me. And then, you'll get a free record, maybe. If there's a whole bunch of you that participate, then I'll put all your names in the plastic celery of death and draw a name. If there's only 2 of you, then I guess you both get a copy of the record right to your doorstep via mail from me. So, get into it. Do it. Can't hurt. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Next one, it's released by 2 labels, co-released from Feral Kid Records and Brain Slash. This is the Mystery Girl Mononegatives split 7-inch. Mystery Girl, it's a kind of up-tempo, really rock and roll influenced garage punk from Albany, New York. Really good. Mononegatives from London, Ontario. Great bunch of dudes. I've talked about them on here before. 3 tracks from Mononegatives. They're like a synth punk, new wavy kind of thing. The first track on here is kind of atypical for what they usually do. It's a little more up-tempo and abrasive. The other 2 songs, it's more along their regular style, their regular modus operandi, if you will. Kind of slowish plotters. Rob sounds very mechanical on this, which I think is pretty cool. So Mystery Girl, Mononegatives, split 7-inch. Here we're going to Prince Edward Island. It's on the eastern fringes here in Kanakistan. It's a band I've spoken of before on here. Antibodies. This is the LP 2021. Sneaky bastards, because that's no LP. Released on Suicide Records. Dave Brown churning out the hits as usual. Antibodies are great. Everything I've heard by him's, consistently good from release to release. Real fuzzed out, stomping, modern DIY hardcore punk. Vocalist kind of sounds like a cartoon robot that's dying, if that makes sense to anybody. But yeah, really, really strong record, and I suggest you pick it up if you can, if you like harsh, abrasive punk. Next, we got a band that I had heard of, but I'd never actually heard until I got this, called Headsplitters. Record's called End Uniform Terror. It's on Desolate Records. I always kind of thought this band would be like a D-beat band, one of the 8 billion that are flying around at the moment. But in reality, they're really just more of a thick, kind of rampaging hardcore punk band. I think they have more, they're more along the lines of something like World Burns to Death than they are, just your average D-beat band. Very entertaining. Drumming on this is really good. Vocals are really strange because he kind of has that like half singing, half spoken style, and it kind of has like a droning, almost like a lulling effect to you, where you just kind of like zone out. I think if I had to hear an entire LP of that, it might be a little much for me. But I think a 7-inch is a perfect, length of time for this band to be assaulting my ears. But yeah, Headsplitters, good record. Next, we're going to Seattle. It's on Blackwater Records. It's a self-titled by Nightfeeder. Got their tape a while back. Fantastic. This carries right on in that tradition. This is super good. This band contains Jay Styles, formerly of Disrupt. And the band, they don't really sound that far removed from Disrupt. They're maybe like a little more subdued than Disrupt was, not quite as over the top as Disrupt got at times. This is super, super good. So if you're into like just really, really well done, crusty, grinding, hardcore punk, then yeah, Nightfeeder. It's good shit. All right, got a couple here from from Sorry State Records out of North Carolina. Great label. It's a band from Philadelphia called Zorn. Record's called Hardcore Zorn. This originally was a cassette released in 2019, but now it's on vinyl. This has a lot in common with like Devil Master, who are also from Philadelphia. Maybe it shares members, I don't even know. There's a hardcore punk, definite backbone to it, but there's a definite almost like a black metal infusion to it. I think it's a little more on the metal side than the punk side. Like metal guys would probably like this. Vocals kind of remind me of a cross between like Blaine from The Accused and the dude from Creator. It's very, very good. Blackened hardcore, I guess, if you want to use that. Here's the other one from Sorry State. It's a Brazilian band that I was not familiar with until I got this. They're called Lasso. It's their self-titled 7-inch. Pretty neat cover. This is just, pissed off, angry, hardcore punk. Makes you want to kick the walls in. Singer screaming his ass off. I mean, that's enough for me. I'm sold. This isn't like, atypical of the genre or anything, but it certainly holds its own with its counterparts. So yeah, Lasso from Brazil. Now we got this one I didn't even see coming. This band hasn't released anything in quite some time, but yeah, it's a band from Toronto called S.H.I.T. This is on Iron Lung. It's Hidden in Eternity, backed with Eraser 3. I love this band. I didn't know if they'd be releasing anything else because their singer, Ryan, he relocated to the UK and the rest of them are here in Canada. So, but Iron Lung, has put this out. So, and it's good. It keeps right in line with where shit left off the last time I heard them. It's just that 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, like stomping, kind of almost like pogo punk. Kind of sounds like Gizm beating the shit out of a polka band, if you can imagine that. The B-side, Eraser 3, is more up-tempo. It turns it up a bit. Still great. Yeah, awesome. Can't recommend it enough. So yeah, S.H.I.T, Hidden in Eternity, Iron Lung Records. Here's another Iron Lung release. It's a German band called Urine. Record's called Afekt. This blew me away. I did not know what to expect with it. I went in blind, and yeah, there's a lot going on here. This is super chaotic hardcore punk, very, very echoey in the vocal department, lots of noises and feedback rolling around in the background. It's hard to focus on any one thing in it. It's one of those records that you have to play loud, and I do. So yeah, I'm totally gonna find everything this band's released and buy it up because this is fucking great. Urine, Afekt. Now we're gonna step over to Finland. It's the new Kohti Tuhoa. It's called Vaccivalta. It's on Levita Esun Mus. One of my favorite bands of the last few years. Favorite, hardcore bands anyways. Super fierce, raging hardcore, female vocals. A little bit of an anarcho-punk influence to it. From Helsinki, I believe. Super, super good. I mean, I expected this to be great. There was no doubt in my mind. And yeah, it was. Good stuff. Now here's another Finnish band called Yleiset, Syyt. And the record is called Umpikujamekanismi. Wait a minute. Umpikujamekanismi. Yeah, Tommy or Dr. October can, ridicule me if I pronounce that wrong, which I'm sure I did. But yeah, this is solid hardcore. Somebody from Kohti Tuhoa is in this as well. It's kind of anthemic at times. It's kind of more punk than hardcore at times. Yeah, it's just really good. It's a really, really good Finnish hardcore band. So yeah, check it out. Yleiset, Syyt. We got a Japanese band on an American label. Beach Impediment Records put this out. It's Socio La Defecta. It's called Kreski. People in here that have spent time in other Japanese hardcore bands like Maniac High Sense and Breakfast and Out of Touch. So it's kind of got that fastcore thing going on. It's a little thicker than that. Male-female dual vocals. It's pretty good. I mean, in the grand scheme of Japanese hardcore, this is okay. I mean, because there's just so many amazing Japanese hardcore bands that it's kind of hard to be super impressed by a newer one unless they're really, really, really good. And I mean, this is pretty good. It's good. Whatever. Socio La Defecta. And the last one. It's a grindcore split. It's on Animate Records. Split between Belgium's Mincecore masters, Agathocles, and a band from Germany called Wraak. Agathocles, I mean, I've talked about them, lots on here before. It's real scratchy, blasting, grindcore, although they call it Mincecore. The vocals sound like a guy who's in the middle of getting a hernia, fist fighting a guy that's, stuck in the middle of a giant belch. And that's a good thing for me. Wraak, super, super fast grindcore, very brief, slow parts while they're like building up steam to go back to being incredibly fast. And the vocals sound like a giant monster in a cave roaring at you through a monsoon. It's just, yeah. Or a fucked up broken vacuum cleaner, one or the other. So, yeah, Agathocles, Wraak, split. And that's what I got. That's all for today. So, yeah, do that thing in the comments. Tell me a band from Michigan that you like that isn't Iggy Pop, Iggy and the Stooges, or the MC5, and you may win a record. So, yeah, whatever. See you next time. Bye.